Good morning, dear parents and families of NIA, Noor International Academy, and welcome to a family engagement live broadcast at Noor International Academy. And with us is Ms. Samah Banna. She's a teacher and instructional coach at NIA, and she will be talking to us today about NWEA test, some important information and resources for parents. Without further ado, Ms. Samah.
Thank you, Mr. Sharfuddin. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad that you're all here with me today as we go over the very important topic of NWEA testing, which we use here at HES. So today I'll be presenting on it and hopefully giving families a deeper understanding of the test and answering any questions that you may have. Like Mr. Sharfuddin said, I've been with HES for 10 years. I'm a teacher and an instructional coach. So on today's agenda, we're going to go over the following things. We're going to talk about NWEA growth. What does it measure exactly? How it's computer adaptive. So what does that mean? What is a RIT score? How do we use the RIT score as teachers and as schools to measure student progress? And how it can help you gain more information on how your child is doing, what subjects are available, and how often the students take them. We're also going to talk about whether this is a standardized test and how is it different from high stakes or, MSTEP testing, state tests, and the kind of questions that your child may answer on the NWEA test and the kind of information you'll receive as the parent. So what is NWEA map growth? It is a computer adaptive test, which means that the students take it on the computer and it adapts to the student's level. So as the test progresses, the questions are changed to meet your child's educational needs. So it will challenge them at the right level based on how they're doing on the test. The kids take it anywhere between 2 to 3 times per school year. Every fall, we start the year with the NWEA test because we want to collect that data and see where your child's at as far as their academic growth. And then we revisit the test again sometime in the middle of the year, usually in January, to adjust our instruction. And then once again, the test will be administered towards the end of the year to see the progress they've made throughout the year. The results for the NWEA tests provide teachers with the information to help us deliver the appropriate content for each student. So it really helps the teachers figure out your child's strengths and also any areas or any gaps that need to be addressed and any interventions that we need to do to get them to grow to the correct level. So NWEA growth, what does it measure? It measures what the students know, regardless of their grade level. So if you have a high achieving student, it's going to measure beyond their grade levels. If you have a 5th grader testing and they are answering questions and they're able to take on higher level math or higher level ELA, it's gonna give them questions that go above 5th grade level. Same thing if you have a struggling student. It's going to give them questions based on where they're at in that content. It measures growth over time, allowing you to track your students' progress throughout the school year and across multiple years. So if your child has been with HES last year and the past years, it really helps us see where they were in the previous year and the year before, and then how they're growing within each grade level. The computer adaptive, it just means that it adjusts to the student's learning level, like I've explained. It's got a unique set of test questions. So not if I'm testing a third grade class, not every student is going to have the same kind of questions. The questions are changed and tweaked to meet your child's level. As the student responds to the questions, the test responds to the student. So it adjusts up or down in difficulty. The RIT score, or the RIT score, that's basically their score when they finish taking the test. So after the test is done, the results are delivered as a RIT score, and it reflects the student's academic knowledge, skills, and abilities. You can tell where your child's at based on their final score for the test. And I'm going to show you some charts that kind of help you gauge where your child is at academically. So the NWEA MAP growth test, the type of questions that are on the growth test are mostly multiple choice questions. There are some drag and drop questions, so they might see a visual or a model or an equation, and they're kind of just moving things around. It's like drag and drop questions. So this is just some example questions that, this is what the test looks like for a third grader for reading and math. As you can see, we have passages. For the upper level, you might have a question that has multiple parts, where the student has to kind of go back into the text and really dig deep into text. For the lower grades, it's going to look a little bit different. For math, it's on the computer. The kids do have paper. They can do their, solve their problems on paper and then put in their answers. Is MAP growth a standardized test, and how is it different from milestones? So Michigan students take the MSTEP test. The nice thing about the NWEA test is that its results are available to us right on the spot, within 24 hours. We have access to reports, and we can quickly make the adjustments we need to ensure that your child's academic, that there's academic growth. And it's not like a standardized test where the students are all answering the same questions. It's adaptive. It adjusts to where they're at and how they're doing on the test. So it gives us a more accurate measure of what they know. And like I said, we get the results right away, which definitely helps us ensure that students are making progress in class. So the MAP growth scores, how do schools and teachers use MAP growth scores? Teachers are using the scores to inform instruction. So as soon as students are done taking the test, teachers can pull up the reports, and we can see any learning gaps that need to be addressed, and we can target those gaps during our instruction in class. So teachers are able to use the tests and the results from the tests to target instruction, meaning focus on the area that needs support, where gaps need to be filled. And it also helps us ensure that we're challenging our students. So if students are doing really well and we need to challenge them with more higher level work, then we're able to adjust to that and provide the right level of instruction with the right amount of challenge for every student. So it definitely helps us differentiate and ensure that the student's instruction is individualized for their needs. The principals and administrators use the scores to see the performance and to basically keep track of the progress of each grade level and how we're doing as a school and as a district. Can MAP growth tell me if my student is working at grade level? Yes, it's going to definitely help you understand where your child's at academically, but it is one test. We have other sources of data that we use, to see how your child's doing, how they're doing in class, on their daily work, or other assessments that we administer through the year. If you have questions, please always discuss those questions with your child's teacher, and they can give you more of an insight on how they're doing overall and whether they're at grade level or not. The MAP test results. How should you expect to receive the MAP test results? So when we say MAP, we're talking about the NWEA. Family reports do get sent home, and we're going to go over what that looks like. And they're also shared during parent-teacher conferences. So with parent-teacher conferences approaching, definitely expect to see your child's NWEA score. And you can have that discussion about, how they're doing and the growth they're making. Also, we have individual student profile reports. They get mailed or sent home once your child's done testing. The scores are distributed and discussed during parent-teacher conferences. And if you ever need access to a specific reports, just reach out to your child's teacher and we can definitely make it available for you. How do I use my students' MAP test results to improve their academic performance? Ask your child's teacher about ways that you can help at home. The teacher is definitely adjusting and helping in the classroom, but the teacher can give you more insight on that. You can definitely collaborate with your child's teacher on how you can support at home. We have so many great resources. For example, iExcel. Teachers can give you a printout of a specific plan that is aligned with their NWEA scores. So it gives them the skills that they need to practice based on how they performed on NWEA. So that's one example of a resource that a teacher can share with you where you can give them the extra practice they need at home. Who do I contact with specific questions? Child's teacher. If you need further assistance, you can, of course, also contact school administration. So this table right here is the student achievement norms table. So this is kind of, many of you might have seen this before. This is usually shared on parent-teacher conferences. This is provided by NWEA. This chart is really helpful for parents because it tells you where your child's at as far as their performance goes. So if you look at this example here, you have the reading achievement norms. As you can see, it's separated by fall, winter, and spring, and it gives you the grade levels. So you would take a look at this. These are the RIT scores. That's the score that your child may score, the final score for NWEA. So if you have a child that scored somewhere, let's say they scored a 210 at the beginning of the year in the fall, and they are in 4th grade. And so if you take a look at the chart, 4th grade fall test, the average score, the expected performance is around 196.67. Of course, we have the standard deviation here. So then you would follow this chart and you can see that a score of 210 is actually end of 5th grade level. So this kind of gives you an idea of, where your child's at with their reading score. Are they above level? Are they below level? Are they right where they need to be? So this is a really helpful chart to use, and you can refer back to it in the fall, in the winter, in the spring, every time your child takes the NWEA test. So this kind of gives you an idea of how they're doing. We provide this for reading, for math. If your child tests in science and language arts, we have the same charts available. This is the family report that gets sent home after the students take their NWEA tests. It's a very simple report to follow. It's really nice because it kind of explains what each part of the report shows. You have the description right here at the top, and then we have student achievement over time. Gives you a nice little chart to show you how your child's growing from year to year with their academic performance. So this is kind of a zoomed in version of it. This is just a sample that was provided by NWEA. It breaks it apart into two parts. You have the achievement percentile and you have the growth percentile. So for example, this student in math, they are high average achievement, meaning they score in the high average. So 76 percentile, meaning that this child scored better than 76% of their peers. So, and that's why they're high average. So if you look at the percentile, it can give you insight. If they're somewhere in the 50s, they're average. If they're above the 50 percentile, then, they're on the higher end. If they're below 50, below 30, that's what, it's on the lower end. Below 30 means there definitely needs to be some intervention and some help to get the child to fill in those learning gaps. And so you can see also the darker line here shows the actual students' scores, and it compares from year to year. So you can go from last spring to this spring to see how they're doing. And then under it, you have the national average. Also helps you understand how your child compares to other students within that grade level on their achievement. Same thing for the average growth. So you want the achievement to be a good score, but you also want to pay attention to growth, because we don't want our students to be high achieving and low growth, because even high achieving students need to continue to grow. In this case, it's 59 percentile. It explains it really nicely. And then you have bullet points here that kind of tell you whether they would be on track or advanced or behind for those high stakes tasks like the ACT and SAT once they reach upper grades. This is another report that you might have seen before. This is the student progress report. And with this one, it compares your student score, as you guys can see, the blue bar right here, compares it to our district, and then compares it to the normal grade level mean, so like the national average. It also gives you the projection when students take the NWEA test. They have a target score that they are expected to reach by the end of the year, and that's where teachers are working hard to give the right amount of challenge and the right instruction so that our end goal is for students to reach or exceed these RIT scores that are targeted by the next time they take their NWEA tests. So this is nice because it shows you just how your child compares to the district and compares to the rest of the country. What's also really nice about it is it kind of breaks the subject into domains. So if you can see right here, you have 4 different domains for reading and math, and it gives you insight on where your child may struggle. So for example, here reading, you have like literature, vocabulary, and then informational text. Your child may score average or high in literature, but maybe their score is lower in vocabulary. And then it tells you that, okay, vocabulary is a weakness or an area that we need to focus more on because, the student did well, but this is an area of concern. So this is really great. It helps the teachers direct instruction in the right way to meet your child's learning needs. And as a parent, it helps you definitely get insight and get the right resources and collaborate with a teacher to support at home as well. You can get the reports. We mail them or we send them to you once the students are done. If you're looking for something specific, please reach out to your child's teacher. And this concludes my presentation. I really hope this was helpful. And I know if we work as a team, parents and teachers, we can really ensure that all of our students are meeting those end of year goals and are exceeding them. If anyone has questions, please feel free to share them.
Thank you, Ms. Benna, for this valuable presentation. This presentation will be available immediately after we end it as a recording on Noor International Academy's YouTube account. It's also broadcast on Instagram, Twitter account, and Facebook of the Academy. So it will be available on all these social media channels. If any parent needs to refer back to it, they can always refer back to it and they can share it with others. We would like to also remind you of the parent-teacher conferences coming up next week. So stay tuned for that and more information. They will take place on Thursday and Friday. Thursday from 4 p.m. till 6 p.m. and Friday from 2 p.m. till 4 p.m. We have no questions on the live, Ms. Benna. If there's any last words you'd like to say or a recap of the what's coming up as far as NWEA, please go ahead. And after that, we will wish our parents and community a happy weekend.
Okay, yes. So the next time they'll be taking their NWEA test will most likely be in January. And definitely parent-teacher conferences next week is the perfect time to ask questions or go over the reports if you're interested to see how your child's doing with their academics. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. And as you know, you're always one call away or one email away from any questions to your school. And we hope that you'll have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
HES Academies have been serving the Detroit metro area for over 23 years, promoting academic excellence, leadership, and cultural diversity, ranking as some of the top schools in the state of Michigan. Our pre-K through 12th grade students enjoy tuition-free, state-accredited education by STEM-certified and highly qualified staff with no geographical restrictions, and with advanced placement, college dual enrollment, scholarship, and Arabic language programs. Noor International Academy in Sterling Heights at NIAPSA.org, Star International Academy in Dearborn Heights and in Canton at StarPSA.org, Universal Academy in Detroit at UniversalPSA.org, and Universal Learning Academy in Westland at ULAPSA.org. Join HES Academies today and enjoy a free Chromebook for every enrolled student.